That time of year thou mayst in me behold, when yellowed leaves or none or few do hang upon these boughs which shake against the cold, bare runed choirs where late the sweet bird sang. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long. That's the first 4 lines and the last 2 lines of Sonnet 73 by Shakespeare. And it's a love poem. And it's about the poignancy of love when you are looking upon your loved one and realize they may not have long to live. Except it's being spoken from the point of the view of the one who is going to die or who is aging and looking aged, the bare-runed choirs of their mind. The Gospel of John, for several chapters, starting in chapter 13, is a love song as well. It's a love song from Jesus to the disciples, and it's a love song from Jesus to God, asking God to love God's people as much as Jesus has loved them. He says, I give you a new commandment to love one another. That's actually not a new commandment. Comes from the Older Testament, the Hebrew Testament. He's told them to do it before. We call this Maundy Thursday from the Latin mandatum, which is command, because he says, I give you a new command to love one another. And he demonstrates what he means by love by washing their feet, by doing something that is so humbling and so vulnerable that we realize that the love he's talking about is a sort of a sacrificial, self-giving love where you love the other so much that you yourself are lost because you have given yourself up in humility and vulnerability to another. He shows that in the foot washing. And he also shows that love by sharing a Passover meal with them. As you heard in the reading, we hear God mandating, commanding that there be a Passover meal, a ritual practice that the Jews do forever after their escape from Egypt to remember how God delivered them, and that they were to sacrifice a lamb and put his blood over the door to signify that they were God's people and that they should not have their firstborn sons taken from them. So Jesus is having a family meal with his family. It's a sign of love. And at Passover meals, a child asks the question, why is this night different from every other night? The night of salvation, the night of deliverance. Well, at this Passover dinner, Jesus and others, somebody is asking at this table, why is this night, that night, the night of Jesus' Last Supper, why is this night different from every other night? The poignancy of Sonnet 73 is in that question, because Jesus knows what's about to happen to him only hours later, and they don't. They get a sense, he said some weird things, I'm going someplace you can't go, but they don't really know what that means yet. But he does know. In his very vulnerable, humbled state, he knows that at this Passover meal, he is the sacrificial lamb, that it will be his blood that will be spilled to save the people. There's another commandment that I find even more interesting, another mandatum from this evening. He says, do this in remembrance of me, and he says it twice. Take this bread, do it in remembrance of me. Take this wine, do it in remembrance of me. To shorten it, remember me, is what he is saying. If you think about it, why would he be saying that? Well, one, from the divine Jesus point of view, he's mandating a new Passover meal, a new ritual that builds on the ritual, the Jewish ritual of Passover, and says, this is a new covenant, and I give you a new ritual, that you will consume my body and my blood in remembrance of me. And he says, as often as you do it in remembrance of me. That's how we know he meant not just that night, but in an ongoing matter, the new Passover meal for Christians. But I want to focus on that command, remember me. Anybody who says, remember me, is in a humbled and a vulnerable state. They are aware that they're going away in some way, and they feel like they're going to lose love. He knows what's going to happen to him, and he is frightened. He's a real man, remember. He suffered every single thing we would suffer on that night and the subsequent day. Except it's worse because he knows it's going to happen. We don't have the foresight. We don't know the future, but he does. So he's frightened. And that is additionally humbling and vulnerable for a man who has been teacher and Lord. It's also, remember me is what you say when you are going to miss people. Think about saying goodbye to a child going to college, or a spouse doing a distant job, or somebody who's moving far away, a friend. I'll remember you. Will you remember me? Do you hear the plaintive cry of a man who knows he's leaving? I think it has another meaning. Remember me, your Lord, your master, your coach, your teacher. Remember what I taught you about how to follow me, how to love one another, and what that humbling, vulnerable love looks like. Remember me is also what someone says when they know they're going to disappear. They're coming for him, and he's going to go, and they're going to have a sham trial, and then he'll be gone. He's saying, remember me. So tonight and tomorrow we remember Jesus.